Welcome to the Air Power Airwaves, the Air Power Manufacturing Solutions podcast series where we talk about manufacturing issues that impact you. Hey, it's Travis Stirewalt. Welcome to another episode of Air Power Airwaves. We are actually shooting again here in the wonderful Air Power Live studios, and I've got a couple guests with me today. First, Bryan Olyer. How you doing, Bryan?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, second time we've met in person.
Yes.
I got to see you train the team in Dallas.
Yes.
We were both down there doing a lot of training.
Yes. Dallas is hot.
Yeah. It is hot. And you just love the heat.
I do love the heat.
We'll talk about that here in a minute. But Bryan is the Senior Territory Sales Manager for Ingersoll Rand, and just a little territory.
Small.
Yes. What is it?
So my territory would be Canada, and then the East Coast, and then obviously the addition, the Air Power footprint, which would include Dallas, Louisiana,
Oklahoma,
and Arkansas.
Yeah, then all the way up to Pennsylvania. So you get it all.
I get it all.
Yep.
I get it all.
Good deal.
Yep.
Well, thank you for joining us,
Appreciate
and looking forward to the conversation today.
You too.
And somebody that you guys are all familiar with, Kyle Crawford. How you doing, Kyle?
Good to see you, Travis.
Thanks for coming back in here again. Again, Kyle is sales and marketing leader for Air Power. I know he's very busy around here. And I'm your host, Travis Stirewalt. I'm an application engineer with Air Power, often referred to as Filter Guru or the Filter Dude. So anything filters, I'm the guy. But I get to put on a different hat, and I really enjoy being here in the studio. So real quick, the basics. Anything Air Power, airpower-usa.com. If you want to watch this podcast live, if you're listening to it, go to airpowerairwaves.com or airpowerlive.com. And any questions you have, you want to reach out because of something one of these guys said, 1-800-334-1001. So, Bryan.
Yes, sir.
Give me the little snippet. Give them the little snippet about who you are, where you're from, and how you ended up in this position.
Sure. So I'm from way upstate New York. By training, I'm a mechanical engineer.
Okay.
I spent a good portion of my time as a mechanical engineer, and I've been with Ingersoll Rand, I think, for approaching 20 years now.
Okay.
Yep. Kind of grew from a very local world. I'm trying not to do this, but I will continue to do it. Grew from very local world in I'll call it the Northeast, and expanded to the entire coast, wherever Air Power footprint is, right?
Okay.
And cover that Canada world all the way through Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent.
Spent a lot of time in this industry and watching this industry change and grow, going from all pneumatic stance to where we sit today, where controlled tools running on batteries. So it's been neat to see how the industry has changed in the last, say, 40 years.
Yep, I can only imagine, and you definitely have a deep dive into that world for sure.
I know we were talking about phones too before we started, but not only did the tools go from like pneumatic to battery, but how was communication with tooling?
Right. So if you go back into the Stone Age where I came from, you had a pneumatic tool and you got very few signals from that tool, and it was tethered. You got a signal that said the tool shut off, and that really you didn't know you were at torque, but you knew the tool shut off. Mm-hmm. To today, where we continue to add sensors on tools to get more and more data. So the data is key, especially if you're looking at Industry 4.0. That fourth industrial revolution, where Internet of Things, smart tools, integration with not only robots and with people. That's basically that step two. First electric corded tools and now cordless tools is what got us to where we need to be to get into that Industry 4.0 world and have that data at our fingertips.
Okay.
Yep. Again, it used to be a clutch fired, and that's all you knew.
That really makes the first question really important.
Yes.
Why the choice of battery tools versus corded tools?
Sure.
And I'm sure you have an opinion on that as well.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you could go safety, you can go ergonomics. Yeah. Take the lead, Bryan.
Sure. So, again, the progression was kind of pneumatic tools and then corded tools with some sensors, right? So now we added the ability to have a torque transducer on a tool and actually get live data, right? Mm-hmm. And that's fantastic. And then we added an angle encoder and we got live angle data, which is, again, important when you're fastening. But you still had a cord, and that cord is a tripping issue for one,
Right.
right? The other thing is you have access problems. If you're trying to, imagine you're on you're building some complicated thing on an assembly line, call it a vehicle, a big, large truck. You want to get up and around and in that vehicle, it's hard with a cable. So we eliminate the cable. That gives you more access, more easy access to what you're trying to do, right?
Yep.
Then you also take away if you've been in a factory, which I think everybody here has at least once, there can be dirt and debris on the floor, right, in a factory, and you drag a cable through that dirt and debris, and then you take it into your assembly. So we can eliminate you taking any of the debris on your floor and putting it in your product by eliminating that cable, right?
Yep.
The other piece that's important is if you think about pneumatics, for particularly, I'm talking about pneumatics versus a cable, or even a cordless tool. Pneumatics, you've got exhaust note, you've got noise that you can eliminate by going to either a corded or a cordless system. The other thing you've got, whenever you have pneumatics, you're also dealing with, pneumatics are a one-way system. What I mean, whatever you put into a pneumatic tool comes out of a pneumatic tool.
Okay.
So if you're putting air, water, and oil into your tool, you're putting air, water, and oil into your atmosphere.
Yep. That makes sense.
Yep.
You hit on one thing, and I just want to kind of circle back on it. So pneumatic tools have a clutch, or a clutch-driven tool, right, which has a torque set point that shuts off.
That's correct.
And then you said the advancements in just all kinds of tooling, right, battery or corded with the transducer.
Yep.
Now we have angle.
Yes.
Why is angle important, just as important as a torque shutoff?
It's incredibly important, right? So again, part of that Industry 4.0, and I think I hit the mic, and I apologize.
We all have.
Yep.
I can assure you.
If you tie my hands up, I don't think I can talk, so I apologize ahead of time. But no, if you look at angle and why it's important, why it wasn't there before, it is there now. A torque transducer will tell you you've reached a torque value correctly, right? And in a very tight range, plus or minus 3%, that kind of thing. But it doesn't tell you that you can't poke yoke your joint. It doesn't tell you that it tells you you've reached torque, but not that you've reached torque in the correct amount of rotation. Right? So what does a correct rotation look like? I'm making up numbers because that's what I do. 10 inch-pounds, 300 degrees of rotation is a good fastener. I get 10 inch-pounds and 2 degrees of rotation. That means I'm trying to tighten something that's already tight. I've cross-threaded it. Something is wrong with that fastener. I can catch it with that angle. On the other side of that angle, if my angle is too high, in other words, I'm looking for 300 and I get 3,000, that means I've broken something. I've stripped the fastener. I've stripped my part. Right? The other piece that's interesting about it is, again, Industry 4.0, we want to get as much data as we can, right? I can tell whether or not I've included all the parts I'm supposed to include, right? So if I'm going to do a fastener and I want to have a washer and a gasket and a doohickey and I forget either of those things, I'm going to have a different angular signature of that fastener, and I'll be able to catch it and fail it and tell that operator, hey, go back and look because something is incorrect. Where a torque transducer by itself would say you did a great job.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a new hire last week starting in Tennessee, and we went over controlled fastening, DC technology, and we drew the box.
Yep.
You want to make sure you hit this torque target. We have a high limit and a low limit, but that's I got to make sure that I also rotate at least this far, not exceed this far. Because to your point, like what if I'm putting a gasket down or multiple washers or pulling two pieces of steel together and I gall the threads?
Sure. And if you're making something that's going into a consumer, you want to make sure what you provide is safe, right?
Right.
So imagine I'll go worst case scenario, like you're putting tires on a vehicle. The one thing you don't want to do is put half the lug nuts on because you've tightened the same lug nuts twice.
Right.
Or you've stripped them. So again, to catch those same pieces of information, we need torque data. We need an angle rotation data.
When we were both in Dallas, I didn't have to go back in the second morning, but I had because I had taught the whole previous day.
Right.
But I had a little bit of time to kill before I needed to head to the airport. So I was like, Brian's going to be there. I've never met Brian. Right. I know we've got an upcoming podcast, so I'm going back. And I actually stayed for probably an hour because the presentation was that informative for me. Like, your explanations of, and I would love to get that captured in a podcast, was your descriptions of like critical torque.
Yes.
And the stretching, of the bolt,
correct,
and whatnot. I was fascinated. We really need to do a podcast on that, just that topic.
It's important. There's a lot to it, right? There's
Absolutely.
A lot to it. Fastening is an important, critically fastening is important, right? Fastening, trying to achieve torque and clamp load are not the same thing, and in the end, we're trying to achieve clamp load. And the more information and data I can look at, the more information I can get, the more I can get closer to Industry 4.0, the closer I can get in that clamp load correctly.
Yeah, when you're talking about critical torque for seat belts, for seats in a car, whatnot, the safety factors alone, the data tells you what's going to be safe.
Correct.
Or the data says, stop, this isn't going to be safe, so redo this. Mm-hmm. Which is, and I'm just touching on one application in a car, but.
Well, are you seeing more and more applications going from quality critical to safety critical?
There is. So if you want to get down there, everybody calls it something different. To me, there's tight is good, warranty critical, and safety critical, right? In other words, if you're putting a mud flap on a car, for example, if it's not tightened correctly, we're probably not going to cause anything but a warranty, right? But if I'm putting an airbag in or seatbelt, that's safety critical. Mm-hmm. But more and more people are going up that scale because they realize the cost of warranty, right? We want it done right the first time. The data is there, right? You're not paying, the tools have the data you need. So for very little investment, you can control that faster, prevent the warranty. Right. So that I definitely see people going up that scale where it used to be, tight was good and tighter's better, has gone away to, we have tools now that are reasonably priced that can give you the information you need to make sure you're doing that faster correctly.
Yep. It's not more joints or safety critical. It's that the technology's better that can be used for warranty.
Why
critical.
wouldn't you if it's at your fingertips?
Right. So I think that's a good, for our next topic, that's a good transition about emerging technology and current trends or versus current trends. Sure. What are some things that we're looking ahead to?
Sure. So obviously on top of cordless, right? That's certainly a trend. So every kind of product you can imagine is looking at that cordless world for some of the things we talked about, right? I can add sensors, I can grab data, I can eliminate all that trip stuff. And you want to say something?
I do. Well, on the cordless though, the battery technology is outstanding. So 5, 10, 15 years ago, battery technology wasn't what it is today.
And that affected battery life.
It affected, the lithium-ion batteries now. The tool is either running or it's not running. There's no, if you remember like your old drills, it was like, whoa. Well, if you have a safety critical joint, like that's not going to fly. So the battery technology today, the advancement, y'all offer 1 million plus cycles on your batteries.
Yep.
I mean, it's gone a long way. So just that in itself has added a whole nother, repertoire of tools to things you never thought could be batteries.
So like, for the person watching this, like your shaver, where you're using your shaver and then it's your beard shaver.
That might be a bad example for you, just saying.
Like the wind down and you're like,
right.
I don't have time to charge this. Mine quit working a long time ago. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. That was the way that tool batteries were, the older tool batteries, right?
Sure.
It would just start to die, and you would lose your your strength, your RPMs, whatever you needed.
Yep. Batteries today are smart, right? So the tool, we won't let you pull the trigger and try to do something that doesn't have the power to do.
Gotcha.
Yep. And recharge time is incredibly fast. One in the charger, one in the tool, and you'll never be out of power.
Okay.
Yep. You take me back to the first question.
It was the emerging technologies.
Emerging technologies for sure. So a couple things, right? So on top of everything in the world trying to go cordless, people want more and more information from these tools, right? Where it used to be a signal that said I passed or failed was maybe acceptable. Now I want to pass or fail. I want to know what that torque value was. I want to know what that angular signature was. Oh, and you know what else I would like? I would like you to send me some trace data. When I say trace, it's literally a graph of the torque versus angle, right? To compare what that joint characteristic looks like every time I pull the trigger. So as more and more information is required and requested, and you're trying to do that now wirelessly, right? The next step in communication is we're starting to clog our channels, so we have to move into another way of communicating, if that makes sense. So more and more data, need bigger data packets and more stuff going back and forth. And then, of course, as you get into a factory, it's not just the tools that are talking. Everything is talking. The automatic guided vehicles, the conveyor systems, the monorails, everything is talking to. So there's a lot of data and there's a lot of stuff in the world out there. It's getting very packed. I remember doing like energy scans 20 years ago in factories, and it was wide open. Pick any channel you want, you're great. Now you do energy scans, like, ooh, we may be in some issues here because there is nothing open. So the next emerging technologies are Wi-Fi, and then Wi-Fi 6, and so forth, and even some cellular technologies. As we move more and more into, I need all the information I can get, and I want it cordlessly, there's a lot of stuff in the air, if that makes sense.
So you talked about clogged channels. So
Yep.
the way the majority of battery tools work today is I operate the tool, I get my data from the tool, and then it sends that information to a control box or an access point or something like that that's mounted, somewhere in the plant.
That's right. Well,
Is there a desire to get rid of this handshaking and just take tool direct to MES?
100%. And that's, again, for us to do that, we've gone to Wi-Fi 6.
Okay.
To run above that noise we talked about and to add some additional brains to a tool so we can go direct to PFOP. PFOP is a means of communication to an MES system, and eliminate that controller. Because today, if you're using Z-Wave radio or low-energy radio signals to go from tool to controller, I've got a line-of-sight issue. I've got to be line-of-sight of that controller, and I've got a distance issue. If I can take my tools, if I still use a controller and I take my tools into Wi-Fi, I no longer have the line of sight to the controller. Controller could be in Chicago, tool can be in Nebraska, right? And as long as the tool and the controller are on the same network, I can communicate. So I've lost my line of sight, which is great because I can take the controller out of the factory. So I don't have a controller mounted on a column in the middle of an assembly area. And if I want to change something, I'm not trying to get a ladder, trying to stand in front of somebody making something, making changes. I can sit in an office, make changes to what's happening via the controller, and the tool will pick it up and change it for it.
Wow.
Right? Yep. So again, eliminate line of sight, eliminate controller being in the middle of the mix, and I can easier, is that a word? I can it's easier for me to do running changes, to look for issues. Like, again, Industry 4.0 is all about how much information I can get. So with these tools, I can set up PM alarms that tell me, ooh, it's time for me to be calibrated. Ooh, I'm having problems. Ooh, my CPK is dipping. Better come look at me. So in the past, if I got that kind of information, that is, go get a ladder, stop the line, walk up a pole, and start playing with the controller. Now I can do that in my office.
And not only can you do that in the office, you just mentioned something I wanted to ask.
Yep.
If, let's say you are responsible for 5 different plants across the U.S., this type of setup would allow somebody in the corporate office to be able to tie into all of that
100%.
and be able to retrieve the data, but also make changes.
Make changes and choices based on the data that's incoming.
Yep.
So again, if you're tied into, even if you're communicating via radio to the controller, but you've got your controller set up on an IP address in your network, you can still do what we're talking about. The beautiful thing is, if you go to Wi-Fi, you can take that controller either off the production line and put it someplace else. So your guy who's at that facility in charge of maintaining that product can do it from his office, right? Instead of going out on the floor.
Yep.
And then you also, just like you said, you have the ability, I'm sorry, the hands are moving.
That's
You
fine.
have the ability to basically look at any controller that's on your network or any tool that's on your network. If you're going direct to tool, see what's going on and make good decisions based on what you see, right? Like, can we speed this tool up? Can we slow this tool down? Are we getting more errors on this one station when we were at this tool? Why is that? Let's go take a look at it. Let's grab all the data we can to make ourselves more efficient. Right?
Yep.
Instead of in the past where it was an air tool with a pass-fail. And gosh, I hope it was right.
Yeah.
Now, as the tools get smarter, we've talked some about, not in this podcast, but in others, about preventative maintenance and predictive maintenance.
Right.
So as the tools get smarter, are they able to prevent or predict when maintenance of the tooling and or your parts need to take place?
We see that as certainly as a future window, right? That's something we're absolutely working on. Right now, the tools you can set up preventive maintenance reminders, right, on our product. So, hey, it's time to grease the gear case. Hey, I've run 300,000 cycles. Please come calibrate me.
Is that like a soft alarm?
It is.
Okay.
It can be soft or hard. So literally, you can have this tool disabled if you hit one of those PM alarms and nothing's been done. Whereas in the past, tools maybe would be in a corner running forever in 4 days, and you have no idea what's happening. Right.
Okay.
I think it's okay.
You guys have mentioned this several times in this podcast so far, but let's dive into what Industry 4.0 is. It keeps coming up.
It's so there's more definitions in the planet of what that is than it can be stated.
Yeah, I was going to let you take that one.
Thanks, pal.
Is that like a whole podcast on its own?
So Industry 4.0, if you really boil it down, it's the fourth industrial revolution. That's literally where the name comes from. And that fourth industrial revolution is, again, getting Internet of Things, smart tools, predictive maintenance. It's tying in people with what they do with collaborative robots. It's the entire data sphere of everything that's happening on to make you a more efficient manufacturer.
Yep.
And there's like 75 million different ways to define that. But really what it defines is that you have all the information at your fingertips to make the proper decision in your manufacturing floor to be the most efficient you can be.
Okay.
Yep. And the safest you can be, and the best product can come out the door.
Mm-hmm.
What I do.
You did
Am I
good.
right?
You did good. So to parlay off that one, how does Ingersoll Rand advancement in tooling lay into Industry 4.0?
Sure. So on both cordless and corded product, it's, again, adding as many sensors as we possibly can, right? How can I get that information to you, how best to get that information to you, and how to do it in a timely fashion. And again, I think the move you'll see from us is in our Limitless product to go to not only Wi-Fi, but Wi-Fi 6 is a way to do that, right? Faster information, cleaner channel, more additional, you'll see unfolding additional things we can do with that data.
Okay.
Like predictive maintenance and et cetera. Okay. I guess the other thing is we'll get to it, but if you look at, we're going to be talking a little bit about the IQI, but again, continually Industry 4.0, adding sensors. So to the IQI product, which is an inline screwdriver product, which we'll talk about, we've added a gyrosphere tilt control, right? Again, more and more data points, more information. And now I've got angle of my rotational angle, I've got torque, and is my tool perpendicular.
And so that's going to open a great can of worms, but why would that matter?
Why would that matter? Sure.
Why would that matter?
So if our tool is not, if we've asked a person to hand hold the tool and fasten a fastener, one thing we want to make sure is that he's engaged in that fastener correctly. All right, because if and we don't want to strip that thing. So in other words, to apply the torque correctly, we need to be perpendicular to the fastener, and we want the bit completely engaged with the fastener.
Okay.
If I'm getting lazy and I'm leaning 15 degrees off, I'm going to either strip that thread or not apply the torque that's required. So okay. I can ensure now I've got another piece of data I can to add to my 4.0 world is that my operator got the torque he was required in the angle rotation that I love him to have it in, and he kept the tool perpendicular. Perfect.
So that is a good fastening.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
While you're on IQI, though, so we'll just stay here for a hot sec because we've talked a lot about battery tooling.
Yep.
IQI, brand new tool that Ingersoll Rand's launching that has a great specific niche, area of expertise, right? Low torque.
Yep.
It is corded.
It is corded.
And we talked about the advantages of battery and getting away from corded, but yet this is a brand new tool, 2025 launch, that's corded.
Yes, sir.
Why would Ingersoll Rand still launch a corded tool?
There's still a home for a corded product, right? There's things that you cannot do or can't do as easily with a battery tool as you can with a corded tool. So if you're looking for lots of cycles, if you're looking for low torque, right? So if you're looking for an inline tool, a battery inline tool is something we personally don't have. It's something, because typically an inline tool is going to be in a arm or a balancer.
Correct.
Right? So once you do that, there's not a real, what are you gaining by putting a battery on something that's already in a container?
It's already pretty rigid, fixtured.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
So there's not there, and by doing it, we've allowed ourselves to get into some very, very low torques we couldn't get before. Right? There's a limit at how low you can go with a battery platform on torques. So that IQI platform is from 0.02 newton meters to 15 newton meters, all off the same controller. The cool piece is if you're familiar with our product at all, you can get that IQI tool and controller out of the box and go to town because it looks exactly like any product we have. It's in the same environment.
Okay. What's the target market? I mean, that's a low torque.
Sure. So the target market, what we see is a huge, as we talk about Industry 4.0 and AI of everything. When I say AI of everything, that genie's out of the bottle. It's not going back in. One of the biggest customers we have out there is people making servers for the AI industry. You cannot make them fast enough or enough of them. Electronic box build, where you have to have everything has to be ESD. Electronic car manufacturers, right? It's low torque. It's electronics has to be ESD. That's where this product fits in, because that's going to be somebody sitting at a bench in front of a small box, putting very, very small screws in. I was at a location a couple weeks ago, and they were putting double, 000 Phillips heads, which to me, because I'm old, look like salt and pepper. I couldn't tell it was a screw. So that would be tough with a pistol grip.
It's like an eyeglass.
It was unbelievable. Like, that can't be a screw. No, it really is, right? And they do 100,000 a day. So again, 100,000 a day of a screw that I can't see. That's where this product falls into place.
Wow.
Right. Yep. And again, Industry 4.0, the other sensor we put on there, same sensor you saw if you're familiar with our RTS mechanical pulse tool, is a red light, green light status beam. So when you pull the trigger and you get a value, it illuminates that whole work area green or red, right? But red is bad, green is good, and the beautiful thing is all tools have a little light on them somewhere. It's very easy to go light blind if you're an operator. If it's just a little dot that lights up, But if it's going red or green, the guy across the street, the guy over here can see that there's an issue. Again,
that was a great change y'all made, because y'all actually put the okay, not okay signal on the part.
Yes.
You know, the operator doesn't have to look at the tool necessarily anymore, because they're going to know based on the part.
Yep.
What
the operator's
going to
know.
Green.
The supervisor's going to know. The guy across the line from the guy is going to know, right? Everybody's going to know that there's an issue.
Guy looking at the data in the cloud.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to know. It's going to be very physical. That one of those things we talked about, tilt, degrees of rotation, torque applied, is not correct. And we better do something about it, because this whole part's red.
Wow.
Yep.
The train always never disappoints us in this podcast. What are customers asking for and converting to? That was something we put on our notes for the podcast, and we have MES.
Yes.
Yep.
So let's go down the MES rabbit hole.
Yeah. Fun. Sure. So I guess before we start, MES, what is it, right? It's a manufacturing execution system. It's a system that is overreaching overall what's going on in your factory, right? It's calling in parts when they're necessary. It's moving the conveyor line, and hopefully it's also telling your tool what to do when to do it, right?
It's like work instruction.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So part comes into station, operator does some kind of interaction with that part, whether it be steps in front of it, scans a barcode, pulls down on a lever, closes a date clamp, whatever. Whatever the operator does to initiate that, the MES system is now going to send some information to my product, right, and tell my product what to do. And when my product's done, it's going to tell that MES system, hey, all that data you're looking for, I did it, and it did it correctly. So now I can move on to whatever's next.
Yep.
So that data can be, like, I know I sound like a broken record. We fell within our box, right? Within my high and low torque limit and within my high and low angle limit. If I'm using an IQI, my tool has been perpendicular. Awesome. I got a red light or a green light. If I'm doing a batch count, my batch was correct, right? So I've told my tool I need to do 3 of the same thing perfectly in the same way. I've done all 3. So now whatever's in front of me, please take it on down the line and do what's next.
Yep. And Ingersoll Rand's had a lot of advancement in tooling and launches in 2025. Do all of your current tools speak in some form or fashion to an MES system?
All of our transducerized tools absolutely do. So QX Limitless with Wi-Fi, and the IQI for sure will speak to any MES. We've launched clutch tools that are battery operated. They do not speak to MES. Because again, we're not getting a lot of data out of a clutch tool.
Right.
But I can still eliminate the hose and all that safety stuff we talked about. The hose, I can completely eliminate that. If clutch tool is what you need, I have those as well.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to move on to the final section of our podcast, and I'm going to start out by saying something that was brought up in our original notes was look at all the shiny new things. And you can get all of these things with Ingersoll Rand and Air Power, but I'm going to fire off a word, and
Okay.
then you guys expand on it. Okay. So start with the dumb tool and why it exists.
Sure. Am I going first? Okay.
Either one. Either one.
So pneumatics.
I should put buzzers on both sides. So that they can,
Who's up?
We don't call them dumb tools.
So pneumatic tooling is never going to go away. 100% duty cycle. They can constantly be repaired. Everybody's got some sort of pneumatic power or compressor. I refer to a dumb tool as a tool that you can open the box up and you can pull the trigger and you instantly know how it operates. That platform's not going away. I mean, Ingersoll Rand makes scalers. They make random orbital sanders, impact wrenches, unbolting stuff, making stuff good and tight, just basic fastening, non-safety, non-torque critical. That industry is not going away. I mean, there's a plethora of those tools out there.
Okay. Yep. All right. So then we step to pneumatic. I know we've talked about pneumatic in this.
Yep.
But just give us a quick overview.
Sure.
So I would say this would be more like pneumatic fastening.
Sure. So pneumatic fastening will probably never go away. Currently the power to weight ratio of an air motor is still greater than that of an electric or battery tool. Right. A 1 horsepower air motor is the size of a Twinkie.
Okay.
Yep. So if you're doing fastening that's not critical, I'll call it the dumb tooling, and you got to do a lot of them, and you need it to be fast, and you need a lot of power in a small package. Pneumatic tools still fit the bill.
Okay. Battery.
So battery tooling, I'm going to talk fastening because that's the world I love. All right. So battery tooling is, again, the reason that we're going there is easy access, getting rid of tripping hazards, making sure we're not dragging hoses through my soon-to-be finished product. Yep.
Battery on industrial, also advancements. Ingersoll Rand uses the same battery platform, so 1 million plus duty cycles per battery. From their fastening tools also could be utilized for their impact wrenches. So just from a battery perspective with Ingersoll Rand, you could have one battery that operates, I don't know how many different battery platform tools you have.
Sure.
But you could unbolt with an impact. Then you could throw that same battery on a QX tool or some sort of, y'all even have like a battery sawzall or something.
Sure.
Like pick your battery tool, right?
Okay.
Tons of advancements in the industrial world for battery. Trip hazard removal, so it's good stuff.
Yep.
All right. Next one, clutch tool.
Yep.
Clutch tool's great. I don't think the clutch tool's going right, pneumatic or battery.
Right.
There's a lot of fastening out there that still needs just an okay. Did I do it? And did I do it, plus or minus 20%?
Sure.
And the clutch tool operates in that manner.
Yep. And we've, with our battery clutch tool launch, the QC clutch, we've added a little bit of brains into it. So one of the things I guess I should have mentioned is we have an app that most of our fastening tools can be attached to do some programming. And now you can do some basic programming on a clutch tool with the app, right? You can control speeds and when those speeds happen as you drive that clutch tool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
That is cool.
Yep.
All right. IQI.
Yes.
Not a battery
It's not
tool.
a battery tool. Nope. It puts Ingersoll Rand in the electronic box build world. It puts us in the world of high precision inline tooling we didn't have before. That's a tool that's 3.5 plus or minus 3.5% with the CPK of 1.67. Again, we've added that light fixture, that light that tells you you've done good or bad, and we've added a gyro. All on a very, very small ergonomic controller that comes out of the box ready to either mount on the wall or a built-in kickstand if you want to bench mount it. So again, that puts us in a place we haven't been before and opens up a whole new bunch of industries for us. Defense industry, server farms, electronic box build, that's where that stuff lives, and that's a great place to have it.
While we're on IQI, though, because it's not a battery tool,
Yes.
if I need a higher torque, but I want a cord, I want a DC electric tool,
Yes.
does IQI have a big brother?
It does. The big brother would be our QCD or QE product, and that'll take you up to 2,000 Newton meters, and that's going to be cabled as well. Yep. Doesn't have some of the bells and whistles that that hasn't been upgraded. Stay tuned to have that green and red and a gyro, but stay tuned.
Okay.
Good.
Yep.
All right. Final one, limitless.
Newest one, too.
Newest one. So that's huge. That's a quantum leap versus what we had before. So traditionally, QX product had a radio in it. It could talk to an old PCM. Then we added a radio and we could talk to a controller. And now we can talk to multiple tools with a single controller, again, using that short wavelength radio, right?
Okay.
Then we added limitless a couple of years ago, so now we can talk Wi-Fi a little bit. The limitless Wi-Fi 6 tool takes us to a new place. Takes us to a place where we can run 10 tools on a controller via Wi-Fi if necessary, or go direct to an MES system using PFOP, right, and not having any controller whatsoever. So we eliminate the controller in that sense.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
So line of sight is gone.
We kind of skipped over something earlier. I wanted to make sure that it ties into limitless. That makes sure we have a description of it and we're covered completely. I know there have been some advancements in Wi-Fi. How does that impact this market?
Huge, right? So again, that's where Wi-Fi 6 comes from. It's a not a clogged Wi-Fi channel. It's bigger data packets. The other thing I would be remiss if I didn't say, and I better say, because is the other piece of the limitless product that we launched is, if you think about it, if you eliminate a controller, one of the things about having a controller is you can add peripherals, right? So I can put a barcode scanner on my controller and use that to job select.
Right.
If I don't have a controller anymore, what the heck am I going to do, right?
How do I job select?
Remember that if I'm at that workstation and that operator has to do something to tell the MES system I'm ready to do something. So we've added a onboard barcode scanner onto the limitless Wi-Fi 6 tools. So if you need to, you can add a barcode scanner and do job selection or pull in information like, okay, operator's there. I want to not only scan something, let's say that I've scanned it, so please run job number 2, right?
Right.
I also want that operator to scan his badge so I know that he did it. I want him to scan the VIN or the sub-VIN, and I want to grab information. So I want active and passive scans without a controller. By adding the barcode on top of that limitless tool, we can do that now.
And can you set that up where, like you were just pointing to all the different things, the badge.
Yep.
Can you set it up where all 4 things have to be scanned to approve the function to actually work?
100%.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, now you're talking. I mean, now you really have a poke-yoked, robust assembly process.
Yep.
Fantastic. Guys, I've enjoyed this podcast immensely. I really appreciate it.
It's fun.
Brian, thank you for
Sure.
taking your time out.
Anytime.
I think you're here in High Point to do some more training, right?
We are, yeah.
So
We're going to get really dangerous tomorrow.
So the whole Air Power team, I say not the whole, but the Air Power team from Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina will be here today
Okay.
to learn about Wi-Fi 6, to learn about IQI, and to be able to take this information back into the market.
You do that this afternoon?
This afternoon and tomorrow.
Okay. All
Absolutely.
right. Good deal. Yeah, it's amazing how quick Air Power's grown out there with, the addition of Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas on its own. Holy
Yeehaw.
mercy.
Louisiana.
Louisiana. Yep. Oh, that dude was really cool that I met at that was there at the class with you.
Yeah.
From Ingersoll Rand.
Yeah, DJ.
Yeah,
DJ.
he's
Yep,
pretty
my
cool.
my counterpart.
You were teaching, and he and I were off to the side. We were just talking about you while you were teaching. No,
Wouldn't be the first time.
he's a great guy.
Yep.
But I've appreciated it very much. Thank you, and Kyle.
Thank you,
you
Travis.
very
Thanks
much,
for having
man.
me again.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to close this podcast out, and we're going to go shoot some videos. So, again, any questions, 1-800-334-1001. Get online, airpower-usa.com, and go to the brands page, and I'll guarantee you there's a button there with an Ingersoll Rand logo that you can click on and find more information about Ingersoll Rand as it pertains to Air Power and what our companies do together. And if you are watching this on YouTube and you want to listen to this just audio version, go to anywhere that you can see or that you hear or listen to podcasts in your car or wherever you are. So I'm going to close this one out by saying what I always say: manufacture it a great day.
Thank you for joining the Air Power Airwaves podcast. Air Power Airwaves is a production of Air Power Inc. and Air Power Live Studios and is hosted by Travis Stirewalt. For more information, please visit airpowerairwaves.com. For more information on all of our products, brands, and manufacturing solutions, please visit airpower-usa.com. If you have any questions or need product support, please contact Air Power at 1-800-334-1001.